Oh, motherfucker, I did it again. Whoopsies. It looks like I've disappeared my face from another one of these damn videos here. Anyways, we are back in widescreen action. There we go. Beautiful. Well, maybe not so beautiful on me, but I do like the picture quality. That's what I'm very much into right now. I see a lot of familiar faces in here as well. I should warn you at the beginning of this video, I once again do not have my Elsa helper, my Elsa Toshi, my little Elsa simp Gaylord is not here today. Actually, she'll be here in about 30 minutes or so. So actually, I'm going to have a little bit of difficulty grabbing a lot of these super chats, but you see a lot of them coming through already. You probably heard me trying to screenshot them in the background. So, you know, I'm going to continue to do a little bit more over here, but I do want to apologize in advance to anyone who I do miss because, well, it's going to be pretty fucking hard when I'm doing it by myself. And, well, you chat at your own peril at this moment. So it looks like I have the most recent ones here. So we're all good on that front. And I'll give it a little bit of time to kind of let people join it in as well. It is a little bit more of a quieter day today compared to last week. Obviously, Bitcoin with coming off of these $100,000 highs. I have a little Santa helper here as well, but he needs to jump off my damn microphone. I don't know why else put him there. Not good. I choose Rich every time. Not getting the message in advance. But yeah. What was I saying on that note? Yes, I just copy and paste another one of these over here. I'm actually multitasking for today, which is pretty much fucking impossible. All right, I quit. I can't do it anymore. I'm just going to talk instead. But yeah, we'll give it a little more time. Obviously, Bitcoin coming off of the $100,000 rejection from a few days ago, still very much relevant to the overall analysis, which Bitcoin now playing out a bit of a bounce, which we were looking for yesterday off of a retest of the day prior's low, which we got both of those. So now that leads into where we are right now. And well, things actually become a little bit more muddied here, at least from the way that I look at things. But I do want to be presenting several different statistics that I do think can perhaps give a better view of the holistic picture of what's going on right now for Bitcoin yet again. All right, I'll try one more of these over here as well. Jesus, man, these damn chats keep on popping up. What's up, Nikki Page? I'm here to hammer them for you. It's all good. You don't need to hammer anyone. I'm just I'm actually just talking a little bit of shit. It's all good. I'm just letting people know in advance. Look, if you do super chat, I might not catch it. I might not catch it, ma'am. I am waiting for Elsa to come back. She'll be back in about 20-30 minutes from right now. Is this where the crypto lives? This could be where the crypto lives. We're actually back in Finland for the holiday season and also for some fresh air. I couldn't stand it anymore in Dubai. I had to take a bit of a break, man. So finally back in at least what I think is the best place in the fucking world, man. The best place in the world. The best air, the best food, the best water as well. You can drink it right out of the fucking tap, and the coffee is damn good as well. In fact, I'm gonna have another sip of this one because it's so fucking good, man. It really is. Zhao Zay says, if you super chat, you are gay. Yes, indeed. That actually is the prerequisite to being a homosexual is by super chatting. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Have a coffee. We can wait for Elsa's grandpa. Awesome. We have grandpa's blessings. We have Joe Plummer from the Bay Area as well. I actually grew up in the Bay Area, so very, very cool. I would never go back there, however. Can we see you fight BitBoy in karate combat? I would only do boxing, man. Karate combat seems a lot. It actually seems dangerous. I mean, boxing is dangerous, of course, as well. But karate combat, they have the extremely small gloves. These are like 8 or 6 ounce gloves, you know, barely even protecting you. And it's not even punches. You can do fucking kicks as well. And I'm not good with my legs. And I know many people out there are very, very good with their legs. And I'll just get absolutely fucking wrecked, I'm sure. So I'll just stick to boxing in the meantime, which I'm actually very much looking forward to this upcoming year. In May in Vegas, there's going to be a massive crypto fight night, which I should be a part of, assuming that we can get an opponent, which is always fucking difficult. But for all of the Americans out there or people who are looking to have a nice little Vegas holiday, it'll be sweet to do a bit of a meetup during that time because, well, Vegas is just one of those special places if you haven't been there. Again, I'm warning all the people who are super chatting. There is no fucking guarantee I'm going to be able to accumulate all of these. I do not have Elsa here today, at least for the next 20 minutes or so. So, it's gonna be it's just me copying and pasting them right now, which is really fucking difficult to do. But like I said, we'll give another 5 minutes or so for people to join on in, and in the meantime, See, what do you weigh? Right now, I'm actually about 78, but I can easily go up to 80 if I need. But ultimately, I like to stay around about 78. 78 seems about right to me. Vegas and me, yeah, exactly, man. It's actually going to be during the Bitcoin conference there as well, so it should be a really fucking good flow between all of the synergies of I guess crypto in general, as all the Bitcoin maximalists will descend upon the city, and then of course we'll have a bit of a fight night, and then it's just Vegas. It's a crazy place. I think even EDC is probably around that time as well. Maybe it's a little bit later. It's been a while since I've been to any one of those things. Again, just warning people here. I see all these super chats coming in. I don't think I'm getting all of them. There's no way. There is actually no way. I appreciate the super chats, of course. Don't want to be dis something from that. My brain's wrecked recently because last night I found out about this new game, which is right up my fucking alley. It's called Path of Exile 2, and I've just been playing the shit out. Well, I played it for about a few hours last night. Insane, man. Absolutely insane. Just exactly what I was looking for recently as well. Why has your screen been stretched? Lol. I stretched it myself, man. I'm stretched. What's going on here? It's good, man. It's good. I just like the look of it, honestly, and I feel like it's a nice look for a little bit of time. That's what we'll do, at least for the foreseeable future, until YouTube tells me not to, or until I get I don't know, YouTube just hates me for it, whatever the fuck. Anyways, Jesus, again, it's like people just don't even care. It's like, look, they're like, you keep on sending these damn super chats. I don't think I can find all of them. But yeah, it does seem to be a great game, Mr. Peter Gedson. Looking forward to that one. Yeah, everyone's playing it right now. It seems to be like what Diablo should have been, because I know a lot of people are very much excited for that. I played that. I didn't really care for it though. I didn't really ever get into it, but this one seems quite stretched as well. Dodgymon, my bunghole is indeed stretched. And what's up, Mr. Alex Switch, another one of our moderators and just an OG of the channel coming on through. Always good to see you, my man. And actually a lot of familiar faces as well. Mr. Matthew Smeed. No, Elsa, I'm out of here. Fair enough. I can understand that as well. Okay, is it time to get into some actual analysis right now? Perhaps we could actually take a little bit of time here to just look through some of the shitcoins, and then we can get to some Bitcoin analysis, just because I think that today and this next coming week are going to actually be very enlightening for me to learn from the community here, about the shitcoins, just because I would expect shitcoins to be looking in a very particular way if Bitcoin is indeed putting in its next major higher low, basically right here, and going to work its way upwards and onwards. But we have seen a change of behavior recently. We've seen a very, very important change of behavior recently. All right, I'm turning that down, that damn sound down. But we've seen a very important change of behavior recently, which I alluded to very briefly on yesterday's video, which is this. During Bitcoin's pullbacks recently, we have seen altcoins no longer hold up well versus Bitcoin. They've actually been losing ground versus versus Bitcoin. And that is different than what we have been seeing over the past couple weeks, which is altcoins are actually holding up well versus Bitcoin, gaining ground versus Bitcoin overall. And that indicates to me that something new is going on. If the past couple weeks have been, I guess, kind of like a mini alt season right there, it is implying that Bitcoin is likely getting ready to take the reins again. Now, does it take the reins to the upside or the downside here? I mean, there are a few signals that do give a higher probability of a certain direction, which we'll get into a little bit later, but I would really expect altcoins to be looking in a certain way if that's going to hold true. So I actually just want to take a quick moment for my own knowledge to look at something like XRP. Not that I own anything, not that I own everything thing of this or want to, but we did look for a major correction. Yeah, we did look for a major correction coming off of the $3 high, or almost $3 high, down to $2. It actually even went a little bit lower than that. So I'm wrong. It went down to 190. But the response thus far has actually been pretty good. This is kind of what you want to see. I'm not saying that this thing is like ready to fucking bulldoze its way to new all-time highs from here, but sideways within this, within this region, anywhere above $2 especially, that's gonna actually looks pretty good more long-term. Again, I'm warning all the super chatters. There is no way I'm gonna be able to find everyone's super chat. Again, I am on my own today, waiting for Elsa to come in about 20 minutes or so. So usually she compiles all of them for me, but I don't have her today, so I have to do it myself. And it's not gonna be easy with all of these chats already going on. So if you're sending them in, I'm gonna apologize in advance, because it's highly likely that I will miss at least one person today. But yeah, looking at XRP here, that would would actually kind of be more in the good category, I'd say. If we go to Ethereum, I'm curious what Ethereum looks like. Again, we were looking for a pullback off of $4,000. We said anywhere down to 3,700 is very easy to get a pullback. We didn't just get a $3,700 pullback. We got all the way down below 35. Yeah, below 35 a couple days ago, retesting, or not retesting, but testing the 50% retracement level right there. So, you know, a lot of these are in bouncing postures, but bounce is not the same thing as continuation. It can bounce and then continue to range, setting up for continuation maybe a little bit later. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's like, is this market ready to move in the near term, or are we in a more prolonged corrective phase? Solana would be another one I'd be interested in checking out. Same shit over here. This one did break down a little bit more compared to other things that we have been looking at. This one getting all the way down to almost $200. But again, you know, this, technically speaking, should be a good area for a higher low if this thing really is going to continue onwards and upwards here. So yeah, I think that's it, you know, as far as what I want to look at on shitcoins for today. So we're just going to delete all of the super chats. Kidding. But again, I will try to get to all of these that I've seen. But let's go through some Bitcoin analysis. I'm going to finish off the rest of this caffeine over here because, man, it really is so fucking good here. I don't understand why, but it actually tastes like, I don't know, like hazelnut chocolate. Is that even a thing? I don't know if it is a thing, but that's what comes to my mind. It's so fucking good. It's so insanely good. I'm also the only fucking moron. I'm the only lobotomized moron who gets iced Americanos in the dead of winter. But I can't not. It's so good. All right, cool. Let me just jump over to my notes over here. Okay, we're actually gonna do something a little bit fun to kind of start this one off. We'll do something that we don't typically do. Oh, also, I want to bring up. Oh, I should actually bring this up as well. Fuck, what was I just about to do? Oh, I completely lost my mind. It was right there. What was it exactly? I feel like if I go through some of these, I'll probably remember it again. But yes, that's it. The witches, the moons, those are about to turn around again, and I will take any sort of confirmation bias that helps me be more bullish here than not. Yeah, and I actually do think that we are getting ready for a moon relatively soon. So perhaps we do. Yeah, perhaps we do include that in the analysis. I think it is Sunday. Yeah, Sunday is the new moon. The new moon, or well, technically, I think it's going to be a full moon, but it is a new moon that happens to be a full moon, which have been of the more bullish variety here. All right. Okay. I've gone through all of that. Yeah, let's actually get into it. Let me actually start off here on the lower term timeframes. On yesterday's video, we were looking for a short-term bounce based off of the very, very minimal bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, bringing Bitcoin back up somewhere around about $98,000, and then very likely retesting the lows and perhaps setting up for yet another bounce. That's kind of led us exactly to where we're at today, and that does still keep the Boolaw's hopes alive for Bitcoin putting in, most importantly, a major higher low right here. Not only that, but there is just a really bizarre similarity going on between what we're seeing right now and something that we did see in 2017, or sorry, not 2017, but 2020 as well. Very similar timing, and also just price structure in general. And this is something that we spoke about in the past, but it's not something that we really focus on too much on this channel. If you are new here, do understand that this is like secondary to the actual analysis. But I want to bring you back on over here to 2020, December 2020, that is, when Bitcoin was brushing up pretty much around the prior all-time highs. And you can see that it goes into this nice sideways consolidation, specifically, I already have it circled off right there, but specifically in this region right here, as Bitcoin entered into late November, putting in this first spike high right here, boom, second slightly higher high right here, comes back down, spends, about 2, 3, 4 weeks. Actually, let me precisely measure this one out, from that high to the next actual breakout. That was 15 days. Okay, 15 days, so about a little over 2 weeks. But keep in mind, one, the timing, and two, the structure. And also, we'll go a little bit more in detail than that as well. But first things first, this first high here coming in on November 26th. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. And then this first low over here coming on the 26th. So high on the 25th, low on the 26th. And that was how big of a retracement? That was about a 15 to 17% retracement. Then Bitcoin pops back up, puts in a secondary high here, very early December, and comes back down and sets in the low around the 9th. So a little bit more than a week after that. And that was a 11.5% retracement. In fact, you do see that, a couple days later, actually on the 10th, or sorry, no, that is not the 10th, that is the 11th, which we are actually getting to right now for December, was that next higher low. And it was a drawdown of about 11.5 to 12% right there. Okay, so keep all of those in the back of your mind's eye, because we're going to go to the present date right here. Again, this is something that we've kind of spoken about recently. I think it was last week when I kind of pointed this one out. Again, it's not a part of like the primary analysis, but I do think it's rather interesting. We have this first high right here. This was coming in from November of 22. So very, very similar timing in that regard, producing a nice pullback. This one being about 9%. So a little bit less, but still, of relevance, I would say. And then Bitcoin popping up over here very early December. And now coming down, we are on day number 10/11. And, from that corrective high to this low, that's about a 9.5. That's close to a 10% move right there. So percentage wise, timing wise, structure wise, very, very similar here. But the most important thing to actually confirm this as what I think a lot of Boolahs want to see this, which is obviously a higher low with continuation to the upside in mind sooner rather than later, would be for Bitcoin to confirm this as a local low, thus confirming a hidden bullish divergence and, very likely making a powerful move into the 6-digit territory, probably towards 110, maybe a little bit more than that as well. But how would you confirm this as a local low right here? That is the major question. There's two ways. One of them, I think, is a little bit more obvious than the other. The first way and the best way, although it might be a little bit late to the party, would be is if Bitcoin can trade above the midday high from Monday right here, which was 100,455 on the index. If you see a trade above there, yes, okay. Very obviously, this is a higher low. Hidden bullish divergence is confirmed and should retest the prior, all-time high in this case, and very likely make new highs from there. Daily time frame. If the daily time frame does close above, if really aggressive people will say $99,000, I personally think that would be a little bit too aggressive for myself, but technically it would be right. $99,000. That would confirm this is a higher low on the daily, and again confirm that hidden bullish divergence. So, it is kind of a question right now of what's the word that I'm looking for. I guess timing is the ultimate word that I'm looking for, but how fast does this happen essentially? So if this is going to happen, we would expect this to happen kind of from today, actually, going along with the dates from the prior 2020 run that we saw earlier. And then on top of that, we should revisit these statistics over here as well. Remember, when we went over Bitcoin, December lows, we have measured out the open to the low of the month for every year and found this. When you measure that out, the average drawdown, if you include all of the data, is about 10%. If you bifurcate that between when the macro trend is up versus when the macro trend is down, well, when the macro trend is up, which is relevant to right now, that number goes to about 6.5. And when you just look at the halvings / elections, even a little bit less than that, closer to 4%, but a very, very limited data set. So putting that into perspective, if we take this number right here, the 6.5% number, well, what would that look, or where would that kind of put us at as of current? Well, Bitcoin has played out about, okay, I need to zero in this a little bit more because I'm actually not getting it perfectly. Let's get this exactly perfect. There we go. Take it from the open to the low, 6.25%. So it's actually right bang on with that data. On top of that, we have also documented the average date of December in which we do see, well, the low of the month. And again, I want to bifurcate the data here between macro trend up versus macro trend down. Obviously, right now, macro trend is up. And that number is quite early on within the month, around day number 4. And that's actually where we've seen the low of this month thus far as well, I believe. Let me just double check. Sorry. We saw it on the 5th. So one day after that, again, very, very close. These are averages. We do expect variance, obviously. So, just looking at the background data, it does seem to me that, if you are bullish for December, if you think that December is going to close positively, one, we very likely already seen the low. And I guess two, the low was, I guess, yesterday or the day prior, or technically not the low of the month, but the next major higher low was that. Was there anything else that I wanted to mention here as well? Yeah, I did want to also point out that during macro uptrends, the latest date that we've ever seen, the low for the month was actually on the 9th, every other time was within the first week, you typically very, very early on within the first week of the month. So again, for reference right now, we are on day number 11. So, you know, it's just looking at these things, it does make me really consider that, hey, you know, if you do have a bullish bias, if you are convinced that Bitcoin is going to close out positively in December, then that was the low essentially is what I'm trying to say, or extremely likely it was the low. Now, moving on from there, we should go ahead and look at our stochastic momentum oscillator. The daily time frame will actually flip back up today if Bitcoin closes above $99,000. So again, another sort of, I guess, secondary confirmation for confirming this as a higher low right here, thus confirming hidden bullish divergence on the daily RSI, and also stochastic momentum also heading up as well. You know, all of these things would very much imply that Bitcoin's, going to make new highs very, probably relatively soon after that. And what other pivots that I want to speak about? Do we have anything new over here on the daily? No, I'm not even on the daily time frame. Yeah, daily time frame for the HPDR indicator, still based off of the bottom of the 38.2 level. So, you know, when you put this into perspective with historical price action statistics, what we've seen recently, it's nothing out of the ordinary. We're not getting to like one of these crazier levels of 61.8 level on either side recently. This has just been one major consolidation, and you know, whenever it comes to consolidation, it always should be favoring of trend continuation first rather than not. Of course, trends can't continue fucking forever, but they're more likely to continue than not, just by definition. So, you know, running with that former assumption, I kind of do still have to say that I am actually looking at this personally as likely the next higher low. Can I be wrong about this? Yeah, absolutely, of course. How will you know that I'm wrong about this? Well, I mean, the most obvious thing would be if Bitcoin comes back down below Monday's low. If you see that, which is 94,200, especially if it closes any sort of higher time frame below there, we're in for a deeper correction. We're probably going to see Bitcoin, I guess, maybe put in an 8 handle, I suppose. But again, I'm running with, understand my assumption. My assumption is that December very likely will be green. Why also do I think that December will be green? Well, because when we go over here, do I want to go over this right now? Yeah. When we go over December, whenever we do see a halving year, or especially anytime that we've seen actually September close green, we've seen also a green December as well. Every time except for once. That was in 2013. Every other time, however, December has been green if September was green as well. Again, if you're not familiar with why that matters at all, it's because September typically is a bearish month for Bitcoin. So it is a little bit interesting to see when September does close green, what typically does happen after that. And it's usually a green fourth quarter, like a massively green fourth quarter. And in all times but one, December has been green as well. So, it's putting all these things together. I would say there's still higher probability of Bitcoin putting in a higher low here and working its way sideways and up. But I can be massively fucking wrong about this. And I will be epically wrong, again, if you do see Bitcoin below Monday's low. That's where things get a lot more, concerning, I suppose. Until then, the last couple of days have been kind of easy, calling for bounces, calling for pullbacks, these sort of things. But it doesn't really mean all that much just yet for the overall trajectory of what Bitcoin's doing right here. Anyways, I think we have hit just about everything. I'll end on a couple more fun things. We do see that the daily price statistics for Wednesday actually do favor negative closures, with over 55% of all Wednesdays closing negatively since 2024 began. But it does have the lowest negative return actually of any weekday, which I think is rather interesting. In fact, when it does close positively on Wednesday, it's the second highest average return as well right there. So, using that to kind of come up with a range for price action to the downside, that could put Bitcoin close to yesterday's lows, or the last couple lows, I guess, at $95,000 would be the average negative return. And if Bitcoin were to play out the upside of that, the average positive return would put Bitcoin actually like a hair below $100,000, like literally a hair below $100,000. So obviously, if that does happen, that'd be another more obvious sign for Bitcoin, again, confirming a higher low right here and working its way sideways and up. And then on top of that, the real analysis, the one that I've been waiting for the OGs who stay this deep into a video, of course, is this. The moons are at it again. And if you're not familiar with this, it's just kind of a fun way to look at price action, although it has been working quite well, to be fair. The full moon, which are these, I guess, lighter colored moons right here, are typically looked at as the bullish moons because good vibes, which I don't know if that's true or not. But look, the data is what the data is. If you were to literally just long on those, well, this would have been your results for, let me actually go see how much this is back tested towards. This would be your results back towards 2016. I mean, obviously we can do the full history of Bitcoin as well. In fact, I'm actually curious, what would the full history of Bitcoin look like if you were to play the moons just entirely? I would actually think it probably looks even better than 2016 just because those early returns are probably insane. So I should add that there is one caveat to this. This is only for very particular days. I think a couple days are excluded. I can actually confirm this in a moment, but yeah, okay. Let's go over here. Let me just see what days exactly are excluded from this calculation. Monday and Thursday. So will the next full moon be on a Monday or Thursday? Well, let's see. This one, we can take about 14 days out, and that would be Sunday. So yeah, it actually won't be a Monday or Thursday. So fair enough. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a good one. Slightly under 59% probability to close positively with a very high profit factor from open to close. So interesting, perhaps worth consideration, or perhaps none at all. And that's a good place for me to be leaving off on this particular video. As always, I want to wish you the best of the best. How was that for you? That was interesting. Like and subscribe. Oh my fucking God. I can't get enough of this guy. I found this Japanese channel on YouTube and it's fucking great. I love him. I'm his biggest fan, but he's hilarious. Every fucking video, he ends with this. How was that? Okay. How was that for you? That was interesting. Please like and subscribe. It's like, what? Where did that come from? Like, what the fuck, man? Please. How was that for you? That was interesting. It's like, what? The fuck did you just say? Makes me laugh. And welcome to the cave, Rubian Saunders. And okay, I realize I missed a ton of these super chats, by the way. There is no hope for these ones. I'm telling you already. Also, I should do a quick shill as well. Just for the Bluffin discount right here, should let everyone know that if you actually follow this link in the description below, it is 15% off on all of your trading fees. Actually, technically, it's 15% cash back from your trading fees. So you just get that money back in your account. For the lifetime of your account. Again, Bluffin is a no KYC exchange, so I know that that's very much relevant to a lot of people's interests out there. Of course, I do have to say my piece about this. Look, if you're not like actually actively learning how to trade and testing things out and actually have a real strategy, you probably shouldn't be trading at all. I'm not your fucking dad, and I can't really tell you what to do, but just for my own conscience, I need to say that. But yeah, for the more active traders, I do think that is kind of a no-brainer. One, because, well, no KYC, and that's obviously valuable for a lot of people out there. And then two, 15% cash back. I mean, that's just more money in your pocket. And if you do trade very, very often and with very high, size like that, that does add up over time. So I've actually moved one of my accounts over there anyways. Okay. All right. That is that. Let's actually get on to the chats over here. Oh, Elsa actually is posting them to me. She must be posting them to me from the gym. That's how good workers Finnish people are. They have slave mentality. It's very, very good. Very, very nice. Slave morality. They actually do, which is terrible. Which is actually terrible. If you're, and I'm not saying that they're actually slaves. I'm coming at this from the Nietzschean understanding of master and slave morality. But Finns really are like that. They really are. Okay. All right, let's start off with Tom. He says, love you too, sir. DEFTF stock. Okay, DEFTF. All right, DeFi Technologies trades OTC. Might as well be a fucking real crypto, I guess. This thing has made new all-time highs, not by much, but it did close on new all-time highs. It's just come back down to retest that red 5 exponential moving average. I don't hate this. Can it pull back more? Sure. I mean, there is bearish divergence here present. You'd have 1, 2, 3 drives. If this confirms as a local high, how would you confirm this as a local high? If this highly esteemed OTC trading pink slip stock trades below this week's low, then yeah, that's going to be it. In fact, I'd even say the same for, or no, I did say the same for Bitcoin. Yeah, if it trades below Monday's low, something else is going on. Expect a deeper correction. It's not my main idea right now, but it is possible, as is anything. All right. Tom says, please help understand pin link. What the fuck? Well, based off of its name, I would say it's probably an avoid, but based off of its chart, highly good. Really fucking good. Look, I don't have any analysis for something like this, man. It's not even been around for a month. Daily time frame can't even populate anything. If I go to a 4-hour time frame, do I think it's hitting like a high right here? Usually I'd actually say no, but in this case, I'm inclined to say yes. It's just I don't have my usual tools to really judge this one. If anything, I'd probably look for a short-term correction down to like 3.25, but I don't fucking know. When these things are this new, there's just nothing to really be going off of. Higher term timeframes remain bullish here, obviously, but even on a 12-hour time frame, like the trend is just like your last higher low is more than 50% lower than current price. Like that's not going to be helpful to really be trend trading on something like this, man. Yeah. Anyways, can it come down to $2? Yeah, I mean, it very easily come down to $2, but again, I don't fucking know when something is this new. I do think that it's going to correct here. I think 3.25 very likely, maybe 265-ish region, but lower than that, I don't know. Anyways, Tobo says OTC stock, a lot of OTC shit today. CYFRF. Okay. Sol Strat. Is this like a Solana OTC stock? That is concerning. It's probably not, since it's been around since 2007. Okay. All right. Well, let's go back on over here. I can already smell where this one's going. We do see that there is a nice rejective high here before just a catastrophic breakdown on this thing. And I'm guessing that's exactly where this one is at right now. In fact, indeed it is. I'd actually say the same thing as what as what I said about the last OTC bullshit. Anywhere below this week's low, expect a much deeper correction, probably towards 70 cents. But until then, I mean, technically this kind of is a breakout, but there is bearish divergence here. It just seems to confirm a local high. Again, if it trades below this week's low, big problems for, a much deeper correction here. But until then, I guess, it can still give it the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. So yeah, anyways, moving on, we do have David. He has all of the letters of his name, like, in between periods. Very, very interesting way of presenting it. Render 4-hour, 12-hour daily macro sentiment, if time permits. Well, let's go over here. Render, again, retesting these highs from May of this year, pulling back from these regions. It's the same chart that we see across the board with XRP, with Ethereum, with Solana, with all of these different things that are essentially the same thing. Pulling back from there, very, 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 very common. How big of a pullback has this been? 34%. So 34% fucking pullback. Holy shit. But, is it reasonable to say that this thing is at least going to try a bounce from here? Yes, I do think so. I mean, again, you have the same sort of potential as Bitcoin. You are already seeing lower RSI levels than we did see back on over the 26th of November low. Therefore, there is potential for hidden bullish divergence here, just like there is Bitcoin. How would you confirm it? Oh, hello.
I'm here, you're canceled.
Elsa says, I'm here, you're canceled. Am I canceled or is someone else canceled? You canceled. Why do you sound like a fucking Christmas elf? How would you confirm a local low? Again, I would be really I would not be lenient with this. I need to see, again, above Monday's mid high, which is 980 at that point. Again, it's a little bit late, but from there probably does retest highs, probably makes new highs, to be fair. All right. Let's see. Do Quan says pups. 50 cents possible before market correction. I mean, most things are already correcting. So if it hasn't corrected already, I mean, that's probably a good sign. This one has been mostly just trading sideways. Let's see how big of a percentage move this was. Yeah, okay. It doesn't look like much. It is a 28% move. Fair enough. Still, however, I'll be looking at the same shit here. Do I think it's going to go to 50 cents before a major correction? Fuck no. I mean, the market's already correcting right here, obviously, but that's probably not the one that you're speaking about. If and when this thing does retest 39 cents, I'd be looking for likely a decent correction there. After that, yeah, I guess it goes to 50 cents or so. But I take it one step at a time. How big of a correction are you looking for is a real question. Because I mean, this is already one right here. It's already like 30%, man. That's a lot. So I would consider this. Thinking about the name says Doggy USD. What to say about Doggy Coin? The weekly is closed above 45 cents. Does that bullishness hold now? Let's see. Let's go over to the weekly. The weekly did indeed close above 45 cents. Not bad. Playing out a nice pullback right here. Still hasn't even taken out last week's low. Very interesting. I do think it could come a little bit lower. Could come back down to like 33 cents if it wants, but overall this range right here, anything between about 45 cents to, let's call it 33 cents, is likely good long term. It's just this can take a while to kind of trade sideways here. I think the LARP lines are still generally right. In fact, I'll just kind of paint over them as to what this next portion probably does. Something like this, perhaps. The longer that it stays here, the better. And again, back above about 45 cents. Especially on like a 12-hour closing basis, this thing should actually have a pretty decent explosion, perhaps to 60, 70 cents, honestly. But do not underestimate how long this thing can go sideways here. And obviously, if it breaks below 33 cents, you got big problems. You got big problems. At that point, you're probably looking towards at least 25, 26, and maybe even lower than that. But I'd give it a chance right here. Again, getting a pullback after one of those major highs have been retested, very, very common. And we've seen the same thing on most alts today already. Actually, you're looking at Doggy versus Sol versus Solana. Okay, it's an interesting combination. But I guess we can do it for the 5 people who trade this pair out there, or maybe you're just looking for which is the faster horse right now. Doggy Coin versus Solana, always going to hit a chart like this that is generally down on the macro scale. This is a phenomenal place right here for the next macro lower high. You are making significantly higher highs on weekly RSI compared to what you saw even in September of 2023 and June of 2023 when it was trading like 2x higher than where it's at right now. So I do think it is putting in a top right here, actually. Again, on extreme volatility, I would like to see this officially come down, but it is looking very, very likely there. So I do think you're in for a corrective period. And if the prior trend holds, that correction is not just correction, it's a reversal with continuation of the macro trend. Anyways, Peepoo says Max ETH. Max ETH. All right. Max ETH. Whoops. Max ETH. Okay. Another one completely out of left field. It's been around for 3 fucking weeks. Like, what do you expect me to do with this, sir? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but seriously, it's been around for fucking 3 weeks. Like, there's nothing here. There's nothing to look at as far as analysis goes. If the only time frame that even makes sense to me is an hourly right here. Even the full hour doesn't really have enough time to populate. Like, look, it barely even populates this. So the hour is the closest. Extreme BBWP alongside multiple drives of bearish divergence. This one's in for a correction here, at least back down to 2770, maybe even down to 2600 or whatever the fuck. Who knows what the hell happens to it after that. Way too new to be doing any sort of real analysis on. Thinking about the name says SEI USD, or at least for me to be doing analysis on. I'm sure there are people out there who'll be like, I know exactly what's going to happen next. I will tell you exactly what happens. God, those people are so fucking insufferable. Whenever I see someone on YouTube or Twitter and they say, I told you exactly what was going to happen. Why don't you listen to me? It's like, yes, because there's 100% certainties in trading, which everyone knows who's been doing this for even more than a few weeks. You fucking insignificant moron. Anyways, SEI, retesting this prior swing high right here. Again, this one having a pretty phenomenal pullback as well. I'm curious how big of a percentage pullback. Yeah, again, 31%. We've seen this across the board for a lot of alts, around 30%. If it is going to put in a higher low, this would be the place. This would be the place. Again, you see that same potential for hidden bullish divergence right here, but it needs to confirm a local low. How would you confirm a local low here? Would need to come back above that midday Monday high, which was 65 cents. If you see that, yeah, probably good. Very likely retest these highs, probably pushes on through. If you see this thing come back down below Monday's low and especially close even like a full hour below there, I imagine at this point, that's going to be indicative of like a real breakdown, and this thing probably comes back down to like 41, 42 cents. But, I'm not necessarily of that opinion for most things in this market. I guess, it could like long term, if things do fail here, I suppose it could look something like this where it based off again and then does something like this. I guess possible. I guess it is possible. Yeah. Anyways, we'll explore that idea maybe a little bit later. Martin Hunt says, good morning to you, sir. Good morning, sir. WIF versus the dollar. WIF dog, WIF hat. Is this still good? Again, retested prior highs. Very likely to pull back from there. Getting exactly that right here. Here's the thing though. Weekly does have bearish divergence forming as of right now. Obviously the weekly is not closed yet, but if it does close below last week's low, I would say that is confirmed, and I'd be looking for this one to actually continue on with the pullback here. In the meantime, the daily time frame has kind of the same opportunity as what we've seen essentially across the board today. It does have a potential for forming a local low here, but it is not a higher low actually. And thus, there cannot be hidden bullish divergence for this thing. So it's a little bit more on the weaker side, I guess. When I look at the monthly, I'm more inclined to say that it probably trades this month sideways and then maybe tries an upside move next month, something like that. I think these things can take a lot of time, honestly. All right. We have thinking about the name. He says Solana versus the dollar. Let's see. I have Solana on my list right here. Again, monthly has essentially been a reconnect with that 5 exponential moving average right here. So if you are bullish like that should be the low. That should be the low for the month. What we just saw, I guess it was 2 days ago, or this one actually made slightly lower lows yesterday, it looks like. Yeah, ever so slightly, but it is indeed there. Just like the last one, it does not, however, have an uptrend here. So you can't have higher lows. Thus, you cannot have hidden bullish divergence. But could it get a nice little pop up here? I suppose, but what would be my conditions for that? Again, 12-hour time frame above that mid-Monday high, this high right here. If you see that, or I have too many damn lines here. Let me just focus on the important one. If you see that, okay, things start to look really, really good. Again, this thing's probably going to trade with everything else in this market anyways. So whichever direction Bitcoin goes, this thing will very likely follow. But it's no longer the strongest, or among the strongest. It is kind of middle of the pack, I guess now. Not acting as well as you'd expect it to here as a former market leader. But yeah, going back to the monthly, if you are long term, this is kind of what to be focused on right here. Look, if it comes back down below this month's low, okay, yeah, there's big problems. Sure, this thing can correct significantly. I guess from there it could even come back to 150, 170. I mean, at least 170 from there. But give it a chance here. I don't think that you're going to see breakdowns this month. That's kind of my issue with this. Like, if you are looking for a breakdown, it's probably more likely to happen in January rather than this month of December. But of course, I can be wrong about this. So we'll see where this one ends out on the week. I think the weekly does also have potential for regular bearish divergence, but you could also argue that the technical target for that is already played out. I mean, this is, again, a 23% correction. I mean, these are fucking tremendously massive moves, to be fair. We're just so spoiled by these massive percentage moves that it doesn't really feel like that much, or at least I think most people who have been here for, even like a couple cycles, probably doesn't feel that much to you. Like, I feel nothing. What do you want? Pin my message. Pin it. Do it. Elsa's like on one today. She's just been scooting around the house all morning, doing all sorts of work. She is up earlier than me nowadays. It's actually fucking crazy. And she's just scooting around like a little Christmas elf. It's amazing. Anyways, Terrence Grogan says, what the fuck? There's no time to waste. Great. ENPH. Okay. ENPH. Enphase Energy. All right. So a real stock here. So we have something different to look at. Overall, bad. Let me actually go to linear here. Overall, bad. But is this thing getting ready for a bounce in the more near term? I mean, it could. You do have potential for regular bullish divergence here, but I wouldn't be looking for that on a reversal. This thing is heavily bearish long term, as long as you're below 139.5. Any sort of short-term moves to the upside, even if it came all the way up to 100 plus, it's still another lower high. So 140 is my area to not be bearish on it. Until then, and any sort of a short-term upside move is likely just that, a short-term upside move before getting ready for lower longer term. But yeah, in the short term, I actually do think that it will bounce here. Probably at least like $89, $90, maybe if you're lucky, like 108. Steven Schickman says doggy daily weekly. I think we looked at that one earlier, so all good there. Thinking about the name says FTM. Okay, Phantom. See what Phantom is doing today. What is Phantom doing? Did this one retest an all-time high? No. Oh, no, it got nowhere near. It retested this prior breakdown right here from April of 2022. Actually, that was a very significant one, wasn't it? That was one of like the FTX bullshits. Or, I don't know, maybe Do Kwon fucking everyone as well. Who knows? Anyways, back onto it with the daily time frame. This one does seem a little bit weaker to me than most of the ones that we've seen today, actually. Although it actually has not dropped off as much as all the other ones. So it's kind of throwing me for a loop. Curious what the monthly looks like again. Yeah, you know, when I see a monthly like this, like I'm not... Like I want to be bearish on this, but I can't based off of the monthly. You know, even if it came down to like 95 cents, like that would be okay for the long term. But, you know, in the short term, the real question is, does this correction drag on longer and lower? Well, you do have potential for weekly bearish divergence here. Again, if this is confirmed as a local high, it will confirm as a local high. Again, you know, I do think it's a little bit aggressive, but you could say anywhere below Monday's low. I would probably wait for an actual daily closure below there, but you know, if that does happen, there is likely a much deeper correction to be had here, probably down to like 70 to 80 cents or so, which is again a very big percentage move. So kind of all rests upon where this week closes out on Sunday. But for right now, you know, it's still above there, obviously. So you can, I guess, run with that assumption. It does still have higher lows the whole way through. You are making lower lows you're making lower lows on your RSI compared to that last higher low from late November. So there is potential for hidden bullish divergence here, but I wouldn't jump the gun until this thing's back above Monday's midday high, which is 1.25. Until that happens, I'd be a little bit skeptical of this one. It does look a little bit weird to me, to be honest. Steven Schickman's looking at Ethereum. Okay, we can look at Ethereum. I have it on my list right here. Again, looking at the monthly look, this one retested the March highs, getting a pullback from there. Very, very likely. I think we went slightly over this one earlier. It has come down. We did say last week it very likely comes down at least to 3,700, but this one came down a little bit lower, actually, closer to 50% level at 35, 55. On a closing basis there. So, you know, this one, again, does have a chance to actually put in and confirm a higher low and hidden bullish divergence here. But how would you actually confirm that? Where does that get confirmed and thus playable? I mean, this is not helpful in my opinion. But the obvious and safe area would be this number right here, 39.50, which is obviously very, very far away from current price action. Not impossible, but it would imply that, you know, the low is in as of 2 days ago, Monday, essentially. And we shouldn't really be expecting lower than that. That also means, as an invalidation, if you do see below Monday's low, especially on a daily closing basis, this thing can correct significantly deeper towards 3,300-ish region, somewhere around there. Keep in mind that'd still just be considered a reconnect with the 5 exponential on the monthly here. So like these you know, it's like I can see a deeper correction for a lot of these things, but at the same time, it's like, how cute do we, you know, do we need to get in this portion? I don't know. For me, I'm still just holding long-term longs. I'm not really doing much other than that. Anyways, thinking about what do you want? What do you want?
Oh my God.
What do you want?
Someone says the dog was different from the soul dog. This is a dog rule. Oh, maybe.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right. Thinking about the name says total 3 analysis and end of cycle potential highs. I tell you this every time. I have no fucking way of knowing that. Okay, so it's retested prior all-time highs, slightly made new highs, getting a massive pullback after that. We do see that same potential for regular bearish divergence here on the weekly RSI, but it would need to confirm a local high. Let's say on this one, you know, if it comes back down below yesterday's low, and especially close the daily below there, yeah, this thing's going to correct significantly further down towards like 850 billion. 850 billion. That is a crazy number. Holy shit. End of cycle potential highs. There's no fucking way for me to know this, man. There's no fucking way. I can do a Fibonacci extension. I don't know how useful it's going to be. We do see that the 1272 actually was perfectly respected right there, which is rather interesting. Above there, you got 137 trillion, and then the 2 extension is 1.62. I do think the 2 extension would be like a healthy bull goggles area to be looking at. Very likely it at least hits this one right here, the 1618 at 137. But above there, things do start to get a little more crazy. But technically, it wouldn't be like super out of the ordinary to hit the the 2 extension right here. Anyways. Let's move on from there. We have Bitcoin dominance. Again, for thinking about the name, everyone wants to look at Bitcoin dominance. I have the same thing to say about this, as I have been saying. Long term, is the monthly high in? Yeah, I do think that the monthly high is in. This is very likely a swing high right here. It's already played out a very significant move to the downside, that being the past, couple weeks of basically alt season. And now you're getting your first bounce from there. But on the first bounce, whenever you have a reversal like this, the next major trade is finding, in fact, this is my favorite trade for any sort of major reversal, is finding that, in this case, the next lower high. And I do think that this thing actually can come a little bit higher before you do come into an obvious area for another lower high. Anywhere between about 58.5% to 59.5% would look a little bit better for me. If you see a rejection right there, let's say you see something like this. It pops up here over the next week or two, and then then rejects and comes back down, specifically below about 57.25. That's your next lower high. This thing is getting ready to actually trend to the downside. But still, I have the same thing to say about, Bitcoin dominance, as I have before. I think this is not the right one to be focusing on. If you want to understand if your altcoin is strong versus Bitcoin, look at the Bitcoin pairing, because when you're looking at this, you're looking at a conglomeration of all the shitty alts combined together. And while this thing has been coming down the past couple of weeks, we've seen definitely a massive differential in the strength of the strong altcoins versus, a lot of the ones that I think people are kind of just holding on from prior cycles and hoping, well, alts, I just need one more alt season to save my bags. It's like, no, I don't think that's going to happen. Most of those things just rallied into macro lower highs yet again. So, as always, better to look at your altcoin or your favorite altcoin versus Bitcoin, in my opinion. It's going to be a much more direct relationship anyways than this chart will be. All right. Stuart Wolstenholme says, love the cave. Longtime dweller, songs 2022, since 2022. Nice one, man. That's awesome. Can you look at GGP? Hold on, let me just... GGP. Okay, GGP. Is the reversal real? That's always a fun question to explore. Let's see. GGP, I'm guessing it's this thing, being that you are British. Is a reversal? There is no reversal here. There's a potential for a monthly reversal. It does have an ever so slightly higher low, but it's not very confidence-inducing. Weekly time frame, I would say unlikely. This is like a real reversal. If by reversal you mean this thing's going to actually enter into a macro uptrend, as of current, I would not consider that at all. Like under no circumstance, as long as it's below about 1170. That does mean it could rally up here. It could rally up to $10 quite easily, I suppose. And just put another lower high. So that's what I'd be saying about this. And I do think that it will trade up here. I do think that it will trade up at least to 9, maybe 10. And then I guess from there you can see, okay, does it actually reclaim 1170? If it does, okay, yeah, you probably have a real reversal on your hands. It's probably going to pull back from there, but that pullback should be a higher low. So yeah, next move very likely is up, but I wouldn't call a reversal real just yet. Still has a lot of work to do. And I do think, yeah, maybe around $10 you probably get. Oh, some good water, really good water. I choose rich every time, says Om Nom. Okay, Om Nom. Dog eat dog. Okay, all right. Okay, it looks exactly how you would think it would look. Jesus fucking Christ. It's not the most obvious, certainly not the strongest chart we've seen today. It's actually among the weaker ones, but at least it does hold macro higher lows, so that you got that at least. Most things can't say that. just going across the different higher term timeframes. You know, it's very difficult for me to be bullish on something like this, man. It's just it's weak. It's weak on all time frames. You know, can it bounce here? Sure. Where would I actually switch around to being bullish on this thing? It need to close a daily above whatever the hell this number is right here. Basically, your 23rd of November high. If you can see that, okay, yeah, the reversal is real, upwards and onwards. Until then, I mean, there's just better things. There's just better things, man. But you know, it's probably going to go with the rest of the market. This one definitely on the weaker side, though. If I wanted to make a more bearish case for Bitcoin, I'd be looking at this thing. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about this other than that. All higher term timeframes are not looking very impressive. Anyways, Big Bull says Moo on the daily and weekly. Okay, let's see what Moo's looking like. Does he even have a daily or a weekly? I guess it actually does. It's been around for a little bit of time now. Definitely stronger than the last thing that we looked at, holding up relatively better. But holding up relatively better doesn't really mean all that much, just ranging here, which is not bad. I mean, obviously it's not bad, but you know, anything between about 3,900 to the downside versus 6,700 to the upside, it's irrelevant. It doesn't really mean anything. Of course, above 6,700, this thing can actually run, you know, I guess towards this prior high that you saw from November. And if it does start to close below 3,900 or basically your November lows, then you're probably going to retest your September lows. So I'd give it a chance here. You know, personally, I do think it'll do something like this, as I think most things are going to do. So a lot of sideways there and then perhaps an upside move, but I can obviously be very, very wrong about that. And that's why we go over invalidations. Anyways, Jacob Virgil D. Dios says BitF stock. Nice. BitF. Bitfirms. I think the LARP lines are still playing out here, man. I don't really have any new analysis for this thing. Continue on sideways. You know, is going to be overall good for the Bulaws here, but you know, do I think it's going to come down a bit? Yeah, I do. You got many drives of bearish divergence come off this last pathetic high, honestly. Do I think it pops back down, fills the gap at like 188, 190? Probably yes, but it doesn't really mean anything. You know, similar to the last one, as long as this one is below about 245 and above about 150, let's just call it 150, there is nothing really there. Nothing really going on. Below 150, okay, yeah, this thing can actually fall apart towards like $1, 110 at least, something like that. And by the same token, if it does trade above, you know, your November early highs, this thing should actually have a pretty nice rally, perhaps closer to, or actually above $3, maybe 3.25, something like that, man. Jason Chanley says brainlit on the daily. Brainlit. Okay, I'm just going to type it in here. I am surprised to find that it is indeed on TradingView. It has very minimal history here, but actually more than some other ones that we've seen today, to be fair. Hidden bearish divergence on this last high, but you could argue that moves to the downside's already played out. That was indeed, holy shit fuck, it's a 40% fucking move. Holy shit, for real. Not much of a daily here to be analyzing, in my opinion. I do see hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour time frame. I do think, you know, short term it can pop back up towards 2,500, whatever the hell numbers those are. But, you know, like a lot of other things that we've seen today, it is ranging here after all. And as long as you are above 1620 and below 3,000, I don't really see anything new going there. So, you know, I'd be looking for sideways here with a little bit of short-term upside in mind, most likely. Cameron Maltby says, good day to you, sir. Ponky Mexi. Okay. Elsa, can you actually close the super chats? My voice is starting to absolutely fucking get wrecked. Let's see. All right. Ponk came down to this lower circle right here. I guess that was a failure condition. Indeed it was. So no one gets to play with the LARP lines. Bad LARP lines. In this case, I do think it does bounce from here. Yes. If you are on, what time frame were you on? Daily time frame. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I do think that it will try at least a bounce from here. It can very easily bounce back up to like, you know, 51, 52 cents. But that doesn't really do anything for it. That's kind of the problem. Bean it. I bean your chat. I bean it. We'll do all of the super chats that were submitted before this moment, but none after this moment.
They will go to matter.
Elsa says she will use it to throw off the balcony. Anyways, this thing, yeah, I do think it's going to try for a bounce here, but this one has entered into an actual downtrend, to be fair, on the daily time frame. In the weekly is also looking quite suspect as well, with this major fucking rejection from mid-November. So while I do think it bounces a little bit here, I would be very skeptical of this thing actually reversing. How would you know that this thing's reversing if you trade back above your December 1st high, actually, which is like 62 cents, 62 and a half cents? Yeah. All right. Gonna get some more water for myself. Okay, Terrence Grogan's back. He's looking at Square Block. Here we go. Okay, daily, weekly, nice. We have a real stock. And daily time frame is corrective, obviously. Weekly time frame has hit a prior major breakdown region. Let me actually get this properly right there. There we go. So again, pulling back from this is expected. It's not a death sentence. I do think it can come down a little bit further, maybe closer to like 91 and a half bucks. But again, that's just another higher low here, to be fair. So overall, I think you've hit a sort of medium-term high. It's going to play a bit sideways and down. However, I would issue one major warning, however. If it does close below last week's low, if it closed below about 90 and a half bucks by Friday, that would be concerning for a much deeper correction, likely back down to 85 or so. Until then, long term, this does look like a macro reversal in the making. It just needs a trade above $100, and particularly close, a monthly would look really fucking good above there. And then you got a real reversal and probably like a 50% move to the upside, to be honest, like 150 or so. Still confident of measure move you mentioned a few weeks ago to 200? Probably not. In fact, I would argue that I was probably looking at that measured move on log scale. Yeah. And I should be looking at it on linear scale, because really the measured move would be actually closer to 150 or so. Not 200, so I'd be wrong on that. Anyways, Crypto Rect RD says, how are you, sir? I'm doing all right, actually. Had a good night of sleep last night. Thank you for asking, sir. Can you please review OM on weekly? I think we did this. No, we didn't. Wow. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck? Really good. Whatever the fuck this thing is, it's good, I guess. Or at least it has a good chart. You do have a consolidation range going on here, obviously. Even with the last couple of days price action with Monday's low, that's still another higher low. So, I'd kind of have to say the same thing about a lot of other things as this one, but this one's a little bit stronger. Sideways within this range, but the second that you start to see this thing break above 433 on a daily closing basis, this thing's gonna go on another like major ride above $5. It's gonna be fucking crazy. Monthly is absolutely insane here. I don't know how much longer this thing can go on for. How would you know that I'm completely wrong about this and this thing is topped for a very long time? If you come back down below Monday's low, especially if you close a daily below there, you're going to hear me say that a lot today. This thing will get absolutely fucking boo-caked in a boo-cake sandwich, probably coming down closer to like 2.25. What?
That was the sandwich.
That's chop noise. That's not sandwich noise. It's chop. Water, chop. Thinking about the name is back. He's looking at AIOZ network, NetDerp. Actually, this one a little bit more strong than a lot of things that we've seen today. Hidden bullish divergence is already showing itself as potential right here on the daily RSI, so I do like that. We did see the double derp of destiny with daily BBWP. That one's already played out, though. Let's just see from top to bottom. 30% move. Crazy. Fucking crazy. Anyways, this thing is essentially at all-time highs. Yeah, I guess I'd have to say that, look, if it confirms that hidden bullish divergence and particularly closes back above, I would say Monday's high, this thing's going to retest highs, probably make new highs from there. I mean, one of the better ones we've seen today. Again, if it does come back down below yesterday's low, however, and close below there, about 95 cents or so, I'd be looking for a much deeper correction over a longer period of time, closer to like 80 cents. So just be aware of where those invalidations are. Krister Forland says, morning, Sir Krown. Good morning, Mr. Krister. You are from North Korea. No, you're from Norway. That's what the NOK. I have a big sold position with stop loss manually on daily close under 208, liquidated at 161. Is this the last point to get out of the trade on a big time frame? Okay, so let me reformulate what you're asking and put it into what I think you're asking. Is it wise to have a stop loss on a daily closure below 208 because that is the last area in which in which if price action were to violate, it would imply that it is going to tumble much deeper and that it's no longer possible that it's going to put in a higher low right here. If you want to go buy the book, you'd actually use Tuesday's low, yesterday's low, which is not 208. It's actually 203 and 33 cents. Not a whole significant difference there, but does matter, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. Because 208 is technically not that pivot. So I would say actually 203. In fact, it even just comes below yesterday's low. I mean, that's highly suspect in my eyes. But yeah, I'd agree mostly with your sentiment. I mean, you're pretty much on target there, at least with what I'm thinking. So yeah, big bull is looking at CAT USD. Okay. CAT, Simon's CAT. Simon's cat. Okay, it's an actual thing. Again, not much price action history. Crazy. I would have never thought. Is there potential for hidden bullish divergence here? There is. Daily RSI making lower lows than these last few ones right here. This last pair. In fact, even playing out that on a nice trend line as well. I'd be inclined to say this one tries for a bounce here. Would need to see it close above like 50,000 in order for it to confirm any sort of bullishness for me, but short-term bear likely does try for a bounce here. I'd only get bearish on this thing if you trade below, and it's particularly close below your December lows. If you see that, okay, yeah, big problems. Until then, it's okay. Bitcoin's back at 98,000 bucks. But here's the thing: Bitcoin's back at 98,000 bucks, but alts are nowhere near where they were last time Bitcoin was at 98,000 bucks. Again, that is a major change of behavior from the past couple weeks. So Bitcoin about to take the reins here, I do believe, and perhaps it gets worse. Perhaps it gets worse on the Bitcoin pairings. Obviously, if Bitcoin moves to the upside versus USD, alts will, at least hold it. What?
Nothing.
Elsa seems to be dealing with a herpity derp. Hey, if you don't understand that there's been a shit ton of super chats and that we do them in order, you might be lobotomized, actually. It's possible. It's possible. Use your fucking brain. It's crazy. Being a little bit of an asshole. I apologize. But, think about it for a second. Think about it for like 5 seconds. Okay, am I looking at the right thing here? Oh, yeah, okay. I thought it said baby Brett, but it says based Brett. Okay. On the daily. Jesus, how big of a fucking move was this? I just need to know. 43.5%. Oh my Lord. This makes slightly new high. I'm guessing that comes on divergence. Well, can't even really populate divergence here. Doesn't really have enough history, but technically kind of there. You already got the easy target for that. So could argue that, yeah, that probably was the low. I'd say the same thing on this one as I say about most things. You're going to hear me say it. You're going to hear me repeat it many a time. As long as it's above 14 cents, I actually do look at this as the next higher low. You do have significant opportunity to make hidden bullish divergence here, but would need to pop back up above the mid-Monday high, which is... It's all the way at fucking 20 cents. So perhaps can take some time. All right. Let's move on from there. There is, hold on. I lost my place. I done goofed, I think. Oh no, I just skipped over a few people. Okay. Vedel for Nishan, VEDL on NSE. Yeah, it actually is really pretty outside. It's really, really nice when the sun's out. VEDL, okay. VEDL. Did you see that the sea is starting to ice over now? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good. Very, very good. Trend is your friend, and in this case, the trend is the upside. Hidden bullish evidence on that last low. It's already retested that high. I think that this one's probably going to trend to new highs, actually. Yeah, it's already at all-time highs. Yeah, very, very good. Very, very good. Only bearish if it comes back down below last week's low. Until then, the trend is your friend. Let this thing just kind of float up into the right. Yeah, I like it. At least for now. I mean, maybe I end up eating those words, but yeah. Justin Meyer says coin 4-hour daily. Okay, Coinbase. I always like looking at this one. This one having some massive ranges recently too. It's fucking crazy shit. Let's see. This is about a 10% move. Yeah, no, 15%. Holy shit. Anyways, LARP lines here still more or less playing out. You know, I don't have a whole hell of a lot to add on to it other than that. Daily volatility telling the story on this one. It's still contracting here, so I do expect that it probably takes more time. I mean, these LARP lines, I mean, might even be accurate in terms of like a time assessment as well. I'm curious what a weekly looks like. Weekly's a little more suspect, but has not taken out last week's low, so that is significant. Monthly, you know, again, overall, I like this. I do think it's probably an opportunity, but here's what I would leave this one at. It's like probably fine. Could come down a little bit lower. If you see it come down below the 14th of November's low, if you see it below there, especially if it closes a daily below there, yeah, okay, this thing's going to correct much further down. I'd probably be looking for an official reconnect with the 5 exponential on the monthly, which is about 250. But until then, you know, this is kind of a good area for consolidation as it gets ready to kind of push on. But again, understand where that relationship gets absolutely fucking wrecked, because it is a long way down from there. About, you know, basically above these highs, that this thing is gonna, I mean, it might as well just retest prior all-time highs like 375. I mean, technically the prior all-time high is higher than that, but you know, that last major swing high at least probably pushes on through there as well, to be honest. All right, and if you're looking at a 4-hour time frame, short term down, I do think it will test a little more downside in the short term, like 290, 289, 290, something like that. Anyways, let's see. Night Rocks says DeFi stock. Oh, we actually already did DeFi stock. It was actually very early on within this video. Nishan says, Brett, we just did that one earlier, so all good. Tobo says if Solana breaks 200 downside wick target. I think we actually just went over that a few requests ago, so I think we're probably good there. But let me see. That's a very specific question. So if Solana essentially breaks the current lows, where to be looking towards? Where's the obvious area? The obvious area. Okay. I'm looking for something worse. Okay, I suppose at least 180 with potential for 165, somewhere in that pocket there. Guess it is possible. I mean, the bi-weekly time frame is also printing bearish divergence here, but for some reason, I'm not that concerned about it until you see below, again, yesterday's low. That's where things start to look nasty. Martin Hunt's looking at Dog USD. Okay, Dog USD. Dog coin. The fuck? Okay. Well, let's see. Better than Doggy Coin. This one actually pretty much already at prior all-time highs. Put in a higher low yesterday or the day before. So again, relatively strong here. I'm guessing this is a fucking meme coin, but yeah, among the best ones that we've seen today. You know, short term, it can range a little bit here. You know, could easily come back down to like 8,400, maybe even 8,000. But respect the trend, man. The direction is up. This thing probably just makes new highs from here, to be honest. I think you got like another month, perhaps, of this. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. What is the 3 days? Yeah, I'm inclined to say this thing's actually going to probably make new all-time highs from here. Pretty fucking crazy. Maybe the best chart that we've seen today, actually. But we'll see. It's always difficult when you say that on a fucking meme coin. It's like, Jesus Christ, so much can go wrong with these things. Woot says, bonk daily. Bonk. My bonk coins. My bonk coins. My bonk coins not doing too well. 46% down. But Elsa, I think you actually bought, no, you literally bought the top. Maybe not the exact top. Do you remember what day you bought? Do you remember?
What day?
Yeah, what day?
No, but why are you telling my coins to everyone?
I'm not telling your coins to everyone. All right. I'll keep it top secret from now on. Anyways, bonk on the daily, on the weaker side, but you know, coming off of these range lows right here, is it likely to bounce? Probably yes. But the problem with a lot of these things, the weaker ones particularly, is that your bounces are are suspect of lower highs and continuation of this downside trend. Where do I flip around on that? Back above again, that mid Monday high. For this one, that would be 44,600 or so. Above there, yeah, things start to look a bit different, and probably does try a short-term upside move, somewhere around 4,200 perhaps, or sorry, 42,000. Somewhere around there, perhaps. But that doesn't do anything for it. Doesn't actually reverse it. It's not until you get back above here before it really even has any sort of a semblance of such things. Big Bull says, moo dang, moo dang, moo dang, moo derp, moo dang. All right, moo dang. Actually, no hidden bullish divergence there, but short term probably does try for a short term upside move. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing back around like 42, 43 cents. Doesn't really do much for me long term. I mean, this thing has barely a fucking chart here, but I guess you could run with the assumption that it's still doing this one massive consolidation, I guess. Of course, that comes with an invalidation, basically anywhere below December lows, and this thing probably falls apart back down to like 21, 22 cents. But until then, I suppose within these boundaries, should be considered a healthy consolidation. Could look something like this. It can take a long time there, man. But again, be aware, if it's below 31 cents on a daily closing basis, bad, very bad, very, very bad. For like an actual breakdown. Tobo says Tesla daily weekly. Okay, TSLA. Let's check this one out. On NAS, how's it doing? We've been bullish on it for a while, and it continues to make new highs. Not bad. In fact, it's basically retesting prior all-time highs. You've seen this now several times with many cryptos that we've looked at today in these past couple of weeks. It's the same shit here. It's retested the prior all-time high. That's a good thing overall, but in the short term, very, 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 very likely to pull back from these regions. I mean, the daily actually doesn't necessarily look like it's there to me just yet. In fact, perhaps I should actually be a bit more lenient on this one. If it comes back down below yesterday's low, or sorry, not yesterday's, but Monday's low and closes below there, okay, then we're in for a nice correction. Probably plays back down to like 330, 340-ish region at least. But until then, it actually is still looking pretty strong here. I mean, these things always look strong when they are around these regions, but I would just be cognizant that, hey, you are retesting prior all-time highs. It might spike up a couple more times here, but if it if it starts to fail around 420 a couple more times, I look at that as a concerning signal for a deeper correction first, before anything else. Now, long term, this is good. This is fine. Monthly, very likely going to make new all-time highs early next year, but it can play out a little bit of a deeper correction here, depending upon how this next, I suppose, week goes, or next few days really goes. Again, below Monday's low, that's where I'd say you got a deeper correction on hand first. Rudy, Rudy, it's me. Lake, please and thank you. Very, very polite, sir. Let's see. I don't believe this thing is on TradingView, sir. Or maybe it's a real stock. Maybe it's this thing, Lakeland Industries. If you do post a stock, it would be really, really helpful if you specify, just because, I typically default to cryptos, even though I'm more than happy to look at stocks or Forex for that matter, or even commodities. In fact, I kind of like looking at stocks a bit more. Looking at this thing, overall, again, good. Trend is your friend. The trend is reversing here, or has reversed on the monthly time frame. You got a higher high and a higher low. So, I wouldn't try to get like too cute with this thing in judging a pullback. I mean, theoretically it can pull back down. I mean, it could pull back down to like low 20s if it wants, but it's not super concerning to me. As long as this thing's above November's low, I'm just looking for this thing to trade sideways enough from here. Very likely finding its way towards like 28, $30. Let's go to a quarterly. I'm just curious what this one looks like very long term. Yeah. I'd basically saying the same thing, but this current segment right here, this can be dragged on for a few more weeks, really. Just these two boundaries, 18.5 to the downside versus 23.85 to the upside. Anything between there is irrelevant, but still with a long-term bias to the upside. But below 18.5, yeah, that's where it's invalidated. That's where probably looking down to like 15-ish. Big percentage move, especially for traditional markets. Nishan is back. He is looking at AVAX. Okay, AVAX USD. All right. Avalanche. where is this one in the grand scheme of things? Again, retesting a prior major breakdown region. Same shit that we've seen many times across the board. This one just didn't get towards the prior all-time high, just a major breakdown region. 25% retracement right there. Is it setting up for a bounce short term? Probably yes. Yeah. Bullish divergence come off this last low. Probably does try and move towards like 48, 49 perhaps. But again, as long as it's below that mid-Monday high, which is $51 or so, you know, I would express some reservation with this one. It's not as much of a, of a place for an obvious higher low as many other things are. So it is a little bit more on the weaker side, at least in the way that I look at things. And you do not have bearish divergence because you don't even have new highs. Fair enough. See what the 5-day looks like. Yeah, here's how to play this one. If you take the last 5-day low, which is, let's just call it $40 or $40.50, any sort of a closure below there, okay, much deeper correction inbound. Get ready for very low 30s, maybe even all the way back down to upper 20s. Until then, you can kind of run with the bull goggles here. That it's going to trade sideways and up from this region, but be very cognizant of this one. This one is this one is not among the stronger ones. Probability of closing below 40. I mean, do you want like an actual probability? We can actually do that. Well, I love when people talk about fucking probabilities on social media and then they just pull it out of their ass. They're just like, well, I give that like a 20% probability. It's like, you have no way of fucking saying that. You have no fucking way of saying that. I wish people called others out on this more. In this case, we actually can come up with probabilities below $40. Is that anything of significance right here? I mean, in the short term, very unlikely. That would be below the 88.3% of historical returns range low. So that would be like 11, like 5.5 to 6% probability. It's like not super high. It's more likely to bounce here first before potentially breaking below 40, because this can obviously reset and then it becomes actually quite likely. But in the short term, no, I don't think so. The short term meaning like the next few days at least. Okay. Let's see. DEAI for Arthur. Okay. DEAI. All right. Okay. It is a thing. It is indeed a thing. I learned a new one today. Whoops. Okay. This is not very, HPDR is my favorite tool. Not very useful, however, on very new things. Anyways, DEAI. Yes. Okay. There we go. Definitely on the weaker side here. Much more massive retracement than most other things. This one actually finding a wick down all the way 60% from the highs. Nasty. But just like most things, I don't think it's ready to break down from here without a bounce attempt first. But this thing's got a lot of work to do before it turns around to be bullish. I'd even say above 83.5 cents is where I'd say is where I'd consider this one as ready to bust on to new highs, I guess. But for right now, this looks like a major top for a long time to me. Even if it does get a short-term bounce, which I think that it will, it can bounce up again to like 75, 80 cents. It doesn't mean much. That's the problem with this. And there's a very obvious signal for this thing, like confirming a macro high here as well. If you see it close below last month's low, which is 45 cents on the dot. If you see December close below there, this thing is going to erase all of the prior gains that it's ever had and probably just make new lows, to be honest. CASPA for Andrew Miramontes. CASPA. Whoops. Let's go like this. Yes. Okay. No, that is what isn't that the isn't that the ticker? All right. Well, whatever. I'll just go to this one. This one looks the same as well. Okay. Again, retesting a prior major breakdown region right here. Boom. Big pullback from there. We already have this one charted as well. Although I would adjust this a little bit further down. In fact, I'd be right about here, 14.5 cents. As long as it's above 14.5 cents, I guess you can kind of give it the benefit of the doubt. But the second that this thing starts to clumb back down below 14.5 cents, especially close it daily below there, I mean, this thing can really come down hard after that. Like, let's say it does come below here, close below there, you're probably going to be looking at a bounce, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it come all the way back down to, 11, like low teens, very low teens, like 11, 12 cents. Until then, like I said, you can kind of run with the assumption here that it's still okay, I guess, but that like major line in the sand right there, major fucking line in the sand, and should have at least a short-term bounce attempt. I do see a little bit of bullish divergence forming here, but again, doesn't really mean that much until it's back above about basically 18 cents. Like, it's got a lot of work to do. Not on the stronger side of things. Let's see. We have Crypto Rect RD. He's looking at PPUSD. Okay, PP. I need to go PP Pepe. I need to go Pepe Pepe. Hidden bullish divergence possible right here. It does have a higher low. I do think short term it will try a rally. Can easily rally up to 24,000, maybe even 25. I should warn everyone who's sending in super chats right now. We've actually closed them like 15 minutes ago, or 10, 15 minutes ago. We cannot read any more super chats after they're closed. I am sorry. I do apologize in advance for that. But hopefully we were.
TIA?
No. Okay. Do I think it's going to pop up here? Yeah, I do think you're going to get a short-term move to the upside. Oh, sorry, this is just a 4-hour time frame. Let's go to a daily. Daily, not as interesting, or not as nice, I guess. Daily, it could very easily rally up here, like I said, to 25,000, and then come down, around these range lows, like 18, maybe even 16, or sorry, that's actually a little bit too low in this case. But yeah, 18, 17-ish region. Put a nice consolidation there. Long term, this is actually quite impressive. But looking at the monthly, well, not really much to see right there. Looking at the 5-day, don't really see much there as well. We're to get bullish on this thing yet again. Expecting, I guess, new all-time highs. Very obviously, that'd be actually above 25,000 on a daily closure. So I do think that you're probably going to pop somewhere up around there in the short term. Just want to see a daily close above there if that were to happen. Tempo Ray Ray. Is that similar to Tampa Bay Bay? Super on the 4-hour daily weekly. Okay, any herps and derps and divergences? I don't know. Let's see. Super having a fucking phenomenal rally right there. Holy shit, hitting a high of 225 earlier this week. Was it? Was that? Yeah, that was Monday. Holy shit. Wait, how big was this pullback? That's what I want to know. 26%. Jesus fucking Christ. Hit extreme conditions here on BBWP. I think this one's going to be shaking itself out sideways and maybe a little bit of downside in the short term, but long term, especially the monthly, I don't hate this, man. Again, retesting these prior highs here from November of 2021, that is a pullback region. It's not out of the ordinary to see something like that. It can maybe even come back down and test around these lows, maybe I guess theoretically somewhere around 170 if it wants. It doesn't really do anything until you start to close below again Monday's low. Below Monday's low, problems. At that point, I guess kiss this thing goodbye for a while and, get ready for 130 or so. But until then, I'm generally going to be leaning on something like this. In fact, the 5-day time frame, is mostly just a reconnect with that 5 exponential. So I'm more inclined to say that this thing actually probably trade sideways and then up from here, but it can take some time. I wouldn't confirm bullishness, if you will, until it's actually back above yesterday's high, Tuesday's high, closing a daily above there. And at that point, yeah, this thing should go on for new highs for the year, probably closer to the official high from December of 2021, which was 270 to maybe even $3. But yeah, one thing before the next. Again, in whatever direction Bitcoin goes, this thing's probably going to follow. But it is on the stronger side in the short term. Anyways, Salim says, Evergrande, quadruple threes. I think we go to this one actually. Yeah. Okay. And you are looking, how do I get my money back from China? That's impossible. Well, there's one way to get your money back from China, and it is very simple. And you just simply press the red fucking button.
Nuclear launch detected.
I did it. I did it again. Chart's been nuked many times. All right. Anderson7 and 7 says XRP 4-hour short term. Okay. Very short term. How do I get my money back? I don't know if it's possible at that point. I don't know. 4-hour time frame for XRP. Very good response off of 190 or so. You know, I'd personally like to see this thing trade back above 268 before I get bullish on it again, because it has played out the correction that we're looking for now. Short term, is it likely to continue on with this rally? Probably retest 240 again. But don't underestimate how much longer these things can go sideways for. You know, it could be a small pop to the upside, maybe around like 240, 245, come back down, put another low somewhere around, you know, low $2, and then work its way sideways and up. But, you know, long term, I don't hate it. I mean, it's not even that I don't hate it, but I would refrain from getting like very bearish on it as long as it's above yesterday's low, Tuesday's low. You know, if it does come below yesterday's low and close the daily below there, okay, yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna come back down to like 140, 150-ish region, maybe lower. But one thing before the next, I mean, this thing's actually kind of somewhat a super. It's holding up relatively better than most things, actually, especially on the higher time frames. Jogan says, can you please chart PP and M87? Well, I don't think that you've gotten the... Well, we already looked at PP, actually, so let's look at M87. Okay, M87, what the fuck is this? It's exactly what you would think. Very, very good, actually, in terms of chart. Curious what the log scale looks like. You know, hidden bullish Everns, multiple drafts coming off this last high. This thing is actually among the best charts that we've seen today. I don't really have anything to add on to it other than that. This thing's going to make new all-time highs this month. I mean, it's going to make it probably this week, you know, today. Okay, can I get my damn tool out here? It's not going to be a great representation. Actually, in fact, that's going to be a terrible one. Let me go to regular scale here just for a moment. Let's see what sort of targets we can derive from this. Probably up to at least 154, 14795, whatever the fuck that number is. You know, somewhere in this pocket right here. Overall, yeah, actually, surprisingly, one of the best charts we've seen today. Volatility rising on essentially new all-time highs. Like, the breakout looks real. I don't know how much more this thing has to go long term, but probably has at least one more new high. Okay. Davy says, memes AI. Okay. US derp. All right. Not very impressive, but also, I mean, I wouldn't say that it's not terrible. It just hasn't had enough history here, really. I guess I've charted this one before as well. I'd have the same thing to say about it as I have before, you know, above 3.2 cents and below 7.5 cents doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't really do anything for me. No potential for hidden bullish divergence here because it is not a higher low as of right now. Very new chart as well. I would be very, very skeptical of this thing if it does close below about 3.2 cents. Again, very likely comes down significantly from there, like 50% move or 40 to 50% move. But, you know, got to give things the benefit of the doubt kind of while they're in these long-term sideways ranges, I suppose, given the portion of the market cycle that we're in right now. But in the short term, does it try a little bit more upside? Maybe it tests 4.5 cents, maybe it doesn't. But I'd generally just be looking for sideways here, you know, and from there, I would be looking for it to come back down, maybe retest kind of around these 3 cent or 3.5 cent lows, something like that, perhaps. All right. Bobby says Gala USD. Okay. Gala. Very bad. Very fucking bad. Holy shit.
Nuclear launch detected.
Get the shit off of my fucking screen. Terrible. Terrible. Just terrible. Really, really bad. Really, really bad. It does have a monthly higher low here. Did certainly get rejected from making a new high as well. However, you know, short term, does it pop back up towards like 5.5 cents? Probably, but it doesn't really do anything for me. Until it trades back above Monday's high, I would be very skeptical of this thing because the trend is your friend and the trend has always been to the downside. This would be a great place for yet another, I should say, lower high, especially, well, there is actually no divergence here. So Perhaps I can be wrong about that. But look, if this thing trades below this week's low, again, I'd be expecting this thing to come back down overall towards like 3.25 cents, something like that, perhaps. Okay. All right. I think that is where we will leave things for today. My voice is sufficiently wrecked. My nuke has been deployed. And I'd like to know, how was that for you? That was interesting. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Gala gonna make a comeback. What do you define as comeback? 1,657% move. It's coming back. I think unlikely, sir, but I could be wrong. Of course. But if comeback means it comes back to the prior all-time highs, I would say it's highly unlikely. Very, very unlikely. Thank you for the reminder, Mr. Bear Nutrition. Stay Safu, and remember to tap the likes very gently. And if you're new here as well, consider subscribing. We do these live streams every week, and we do regular videos every day, actually. All right, cool. Would you like to say anything? For your Elsa says, fuck you and see you tomorrow. And I say, how was that for you? That was interesting. We'll end on that note. As always, wishing everyone the best of the best. See you next time.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, XR, pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, bend it, fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate.